The freighter Stellar Wisp shuddered back into normal space, its hull humming with the aftershock of an experimental FTL jump. The orbital dock above Tarsis Prime loomed ahead, a sprawl of steel and blinking lights, its arms cradling ships like a tired mother. Inside the control tower, Kale leaned against his console, watching the ship glide in with the ease of a dancer slipping into step. The dock buzzed with the clank of loaders and the hiss of vents, a patchwork of rust and polish earned over decades of hauling folks through the black. As soon as the bay doors sealed, the Wisp's ramp lowered, and out strode Mara, her flight suit streaked with grease, her grin pure mischief. "Kale, you old vacuum rat, tell me you saw that entry. Threaded the Nebular Veil like a damn needle. Tightest shortcut this side of the Perseus arm." Kale folded his arms. "And you didn't melt your hull into slag?" "Close." Mara stretched, cracking her shoulders. "Diverted mid-mission. Picked up a Vixen transport drifting dead in the dark. Engine failure. Stasis pods full of colonists headed for a famine zone." Kale's brow furrowed. And we towed them in." She wiped her hands on her pants, smearing the grease further. "Burned through extra fuel getting them to a jump station. Got them on their way, but now we're running shy on power cells and rations." She jerked a thumb at the Wisp, its hull patched and dented, a scrappy beast that somehow still danced the stars. Kale gave a low whistle. "They pay you?" Mara shrugged. "Didn't ask. Figured we had just enough to make it work." Kale exhaled through his nose, shaking his head. "You're a terrible businesswoman." "Maybe." She grinned, but it felt too good to haggle over. Kale sighed and waved her toward the supply manifests. Quarter ration crates, half-load of power cells, and he tapped the console. "Hell, I'll throw in a crate of holodramas. Your crew could use some entertainment." He glanced out the tower window where a couple of Mara's crew, grimy but laughing, wrangled a fuel line, their chatter cutting through the dock's hum. Mara clapped a hand on his shoulder. "You're all heart, Kale." He snorted. Yeah. And I assume you're paying me in more of that good feeling?" Mara waggled her eyebrows. "Got plenty to go around." Kyle chuckled, inputting the order. "Then I'll charge you a quarter of that good feeling and call it even." A shout echoed from the Wisp. A lanky crewman hollered, "Mara, these dramas better have pirates!" She yelled back, "Only if Kale's got taste." Kale muttered, "They're lucky I've got spares," but his smirk betrayed him. As the dock crew started loading supplies onto the Wisp, Mara leaned against a crate, watching them work. Funny how splitting that feeling doesn't make it less. Kale rubbed his jaw, considering that. Maybe some things get heavier when shared. She nodded, thoughtful for a moment, then pushed off the crate. "Well, can't sit around philosophizing. Got another run to make." She paused, eyeing the stars through the bay's viewport, a flicker of weariness in her grin. She'd been hauling too long to count the trips, but not long enough to quit. "Where to?" Kyle asked, more out of habit than need. Mara smirked. "Wherever someone needs hauling out of the dark." Kyle watched as she strode up the ramp, calling orders to her crew. The engines rumbled, bay doors humming open. The Wisp lifted smoothly, then vanished in a streak of light, carving another path through the void. Kyle exhaled, shaking his head as he turned back to his console. Some debts weren't counted in credits, and some balances, he figured, were best left uneven.